Welcome to the Heidi Thorne Show. I'm your host, Heidi Thorne, and in this podcast, I share my real-world self-publishing and small business experience with you. So let's get started with today's show. Now, today I am going to talk about lead generation books. If you've been following me for a while, you'll know that my specialty genre is business nonfiction, and I work with authors on writing and publishing, particularly self-publishing, books to help build their marketing brand. Now, the concept of a lead generation book is a little strange. Let's think about that from a conceptual standpoint. You're telling me that someone has an issue that needs solving that maybe your business can solve. They're going to go to Amazon. They're going to look through thousands of listings for books, and they're going to find your book. They're going to read maybe 100 to 300 pages of book and then call you. Yeah, that's not how it works in the real world. In the real world, what people who have a problem do, go to Google, type in their problem, or these days voice search their problem, and they look at the listings that Google or whatever device they're using, such as Alexa, tells them to call or contact. That's how it works in the real world. So lead generation books are flawed in terms of how they work today. Now, back in the day, they may have worked a little bit better before the self-publishing era. Because in those days, if you wanted to have a published book, you had to get a book deal with a traditional publisher. And so that gave your book a bit of clout, and there were fewer books being published. Then Amazon and the self-publishing era happened. Now, with Kindle Direct Publishing, millions of books are published on Kindle. In fact, I was listening to Seth Godin's Akimbo podcast recently, and he reported that there are 1,000 Kindle books published every 8 hours. Let's do the math there. That's over 1 million books a year. And the old books don't go away. So there are millions of books on Amazon. In fact, when you go into your Author Central account, to get your author page on Amazon, it will show your book rankings on Amazon. And it says your ranking compared to 8 million other print books. That's just the print ones. Then it's for Kindle, it says over 1 million titles. Yeah, it's way over 1 million titles. So it's just craziness to think that your lead generation book is going to get you sales leads. It's just insane. And I had a couple of authors contact me within a very short period of time. I think it was the same week. And both of them were considering lead generation books. And I had to tell both of them that I just don't know if this is a really good fit for you right now. The one is a pretty successful content entrepreneur. She creates videos and she has people who subscribe to her community that makes a living for her. By all standards, she would be the envy of a lot of my small business consultant and entrepreneur friends. I mean, she's that successful. She wants to have a book because she thinks it's going to offer her a lot more media and PR opportunities so that she can share her message with a much wider audience. Now, the other problem for her is that she's pretty overwhelmed right now, and she's having a hard time focusing on her book. And there's people who tell her, well, you just have to be committed to getting it done and, just achieving it. And I said, let's take a step back here. First of all, you're successful. And the PR opportunities, those are hard to get. Those are really, really hard to get. And if you're looking for exposure on such shows as the Today Show or Good Morning America or, the talk shows, you're going to need some professional PR help, because no media source, no publisher, no bookstore is looking for the next self-published book in a crowded market. And the industry she serves is pretty competitive. And as we talked about a little bit earlier, the competition for books on Amazon is ridiculous. So she's going to have to invest a lot into getting this book done, not only from an emotional level because she's overwhelmed, but also from just the PR and media opportunities that she wants is going to take a pretty huge investment. So I just don't know if it's a good fit right now. And you know what I told her? I said, one day it's going to feel right and you're going to have the time and you'll get it done. So don't panic, because the sales leads you're going to get from your book, and I'm going to talk about that again in a little bit, are probably not going to outweigh the investments you're going to have to make. So then the second entrepreneur that contacted me just doesn't like marketing at all. And she's not alone. Most entrepreneurs and small business people really don't relish the whole marketing thing. So I get it. I totally understand. So she goes to some webinar or seminar, and the presenter was really emphatic that they should have a book because it will be a sales lead generator. So she was totally interested, as you can imagine. And here's what I had to tell her. It doesn't work like that. And as we talked about before, because there's just so many books out there, they'd have to go through all that whole book process to find her. And, I think she would be much better served by hiring some help to work on her sales strategy. I mean, real personal selling strategy, or her web strategy, so that she can, build a website that is great for sales conversions. Now, here's my experience with the lead generation book. No, I am not immune to the appeal of them. So back around 2011, I thought, wow, that would be great. I always wanted to write a book. I had toyed with a lot of self-publishing kind of projects, some books, some educational materials, that sort of thing. But the first book I self-published in what I call the Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing era was for my promotional products business that I had for 17 years. And here was the theory behind it. And you'll see how flawed this is. I wrote this book with all the knowledge I had gained over several years in the business, and it was built and written to help people understand how to save money and keep their marketing brand intact. And what I hoped is that at the end of the book, where I said, hey, I can help you with all of this, they would contact me and we'd do business. This was the book that I wrote. It's called Swag, How to Choose and Use Promotional Products for Marketing Your Business. It is still my best-selling book to date. I mean, I'm still selling it like almost a decade later. So, great. But it didn't produce any sales leads for me. I take that back. It produced some leads, but not for promotional product sales. It produced leads for me for speaking engagements to the promotional industry. Getting no clients there. Then when I gave it to my existing clients, here's their reaction. Oh, that's nice. Why would they have that reaction? They had that reaction because they knew they had me as a promotional products professional. They knew that they had me to do all that heavy lifting in terms of the promotional details. And even though I was one of the very few, and still am one of the very few books on Amazon on promotional products and promotional products marketing, and I sell a lot of those books, yeah, it didn't generate any sales leads for me. So I hope you have found this helpful as you are thinking, or maybe now not thinking, about a lead generation book to sell your business. And if you found it helpful, please rate, review, and subscribe to the Heidi Thorne Show on whatever podcast platform you like to use. I'm on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, and Podbean. And if you like the YouTube video better, that's fine. You just have to subscribe to my Heidi Thorne YouTube channel and turn on the notification bell so that you get an alert when a new video is available. And of course, please share the podcast, the Heidi Thorne Show podcast, with your friends on social media. If you'd like to see my self-published books, just go to Amazon, Audible, or Apple Books and just put in my name, Heidi Thorne, and you'll go to my author page and you'll see all the books that I have listed there. If you'd like to connect with me, my website is very simply HeidiThorne.com. Thank you so much for listening and for your support. I'll look forward to talking with you again in the next episode, and in the meantime, have a great day.